Please be seated. Hello and welcome. It is so great to see all of you here today. I'm really deeply, deeply touched. It's such a busy time of year. Welcome to our King's Coronation III Medal celebration this evening. Welcome to our recipients, our nominees, our families, communities, and the political leaders that are representing Waterloo Region. As your senator, I'm thrilled to be here today and host you, my community. First, thank you to Piper, Mr. Luke. Now, Luke, it's Balatruzitis. I'm going to try it. And he is at WCI, and he did a great job, don't you think? Now, Luke took this very seriously, and we had a conversation, and he knew this, and of course it forced me to do deep research. But the piece that he played, that we agreed that he would play this evening, that he worked on learning from scratch, is called Amor Terrae Nostrae, and it was written to commemorate the coronation of His Majesty King Charles III. And it was written by Stuart Little. He's a very, very famous man from Scotland who does this, a lot of this writing. We could not bring the King to you today, but we could share this special piece with you. So Luke, thank you so very, very much. As we begin our ceremony this evening, I would like to remind you that we acknowledge that this museum is built on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Neutral peoples. We are most grateful to be here and hosted in this wonderful facility. Guests, I now invite you to stand for our national anthem that will be performed by Izzy Bogue, a very talented rising star from Eastwood Collegiate. Izzy.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, and with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Et ta valeur, deux fois trompée, protégera nos foyers et nos doigts. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
That was beautiful, so appropriate, and thank you so much. Please be seated. I'd now like to take the opportunity to welcome Regional Chair of Waterloo Region, Ms. Karen Redmond, to the stage.
Well, what can I say? What a wonderful celebration. Such an honor to be in the room with so many incredible people, their families and their friends. Thank you, Senator Deacon, for inviting me to come up and say a few words, and thank your team for organizing what an amazing event. On behalf of Regional Council and the residents of the region of Waterloo, I want to congratulate each of the recipients on earning this prestigious award. It speaks volumes to the work that you have done and continue to do in our community. From change-making in sports to supporting refugees and children, All of you are making Waterloo Region a better place for people that you serve through your work. I'd like to take a moment also to recognize the recipients of this year who are no longer with us, but whose work continues to impact the community. We keep honoring their legacies and their contributions. Finally, I would like to thank Senator Deacon and the Government of Canada for this recognition. The community members with us today have contributed to the health and well-being and the success of this region and far beyond, and these medals are a very tangible way to show our appreciation. All of you are role models working to build community, to support community, and create a more equitable future. Again, congratulations and thank you so much for your work.
Thank you so much. And thank you for speaking on behalf of our leaders present here. They're in and out, but Councillor Julie Wright, Mayor Shantz and Vervanabik, MP Mike Morris, and MPP Catherine Fife and Mike Harris, thank you for being here. This evening, why are we here? We are here to celebrate this community, the diversity of this community, and the individuals who contribute so much to this community. In May 2023, the coronation took place for His Majesty King Charles III. Shortly after, a Canadian honour was created. That is the Coronation Medal. This was launched through the monarch by Her Excellency, the Royal Honourable Mary Simon, Governor General of Canada, also my boss. The intent was to honour His Majesty for his service to Canada, to those who have made significant contributions to their community, their province, the country, or internationally. The Governor General gave out the first 100 medals in June. Senators were the group that was invited first or next to submit nominations and get the process going. It began last spring. You will hear more as other groups are invited to nominate recipients over the next month. Ultimately, our shared sense of purpose as Canadians is strengthened when we collectively honor those who distinguish themselves by virtue of their talents, their generosity, and their service to their community and to our country. As I planned this evening, I had three intentions. One, to thoroughly honor our recipients. One, to bring a little bit of Senate to KW, because a lot of folks, even when they received the medal, weren't quite sure what my role was or that we had a senator. And so a little bit of sharing there, and also the opportunity to share these moments with families, friends, and colleagues. I don't get to host often in Waterloo Region. This was a privilege to have you here together today. Being a senator, what is it all about in less than a minute? You will notice the slides that have been playing this evening. These slides were chosen to reflect the work that I do in the community, in my country, and internationally. As a senator over the past 6 years, my role is to ensure every piece of legislation, every motion, every regulation is given what we call sober second thought in the Red Chamber. As of 2016, senators were recommended by the PM to the Governor General based on merit, expertise, and experience, with the goal of ensuring that senators represented all walks of life and the diversity of this country, and ensuring that we could represent those most vulnerable or those who could not represent themselves. I'm an independent senator. That means that all of my work, debate, development of legislation is based on what best meets the needs of Canadians, not a political party necessarily. Presently, my community work is focused on security, defense, intelligence, foreign affairs, international trade and development. It's a busy world. It's a complex world. It's a fragile world. And it's an honor to take the learnings from my community to Ottawa and back. But ultimately, whenever I have an opportunity to meet and celebrate the work of Canadians, it's a good day. It's a great day. Let's now meet and hear more about today's King's Coronation III medal recipients. This is why we are here. So how is this going to work? I was laughing this morning because we're doing 16 medals today. And if you watch the Oscars, that takes 3.5 hours. So we have about 50 minutes. And so we are going to honor, but also try to keep the intent moving. I'm going to call a small group of recipients that are going to come to the side of the stage, and I will call up one recipient at a time. These recipients, I thought it was really important to be given a choice. They were given the choice to speak, to not speak, or to be asked a question that I thought might bring out even more about the work they did or have done in their community. So you'll see all three used tonight. Following this, each medal will be presented with my husband, Bruce Deacon, with me tonight on stage, of which I greatly appreciate. We'll then step forward, and there's a center section here with the recipient for photographs, so feel free to get up where you are, get your spot, and then for the next person for the photograph, and take that photo. And our recipients know they have a minute, and we will do our best to celebrate each and every one of you for your important work. So at this moment, I'd like to invite Susan Hullman, John Rothwell, Norman MacDonald Ewing to the stage, which is really the chairs there. And Susan, you can just come on right up if you don't mind. Come over here. There it is, right? And you're going to do all the first today, right? Okay, that's exactly it. Susan Hullman, and you have, with your families, a program that there are some summaries in there. There's also the history of what the medal is and why it was developed and the design and why. So we certainly welcome you. My messaging isn't the same, but we want to make sure you have that program to take with you. Kids Ability is a very well-known organization supporting young learners throughout the region. Susan has profoundly impacted countless children and youth with disabilities through her exceptional volunteerism at Kids Ability. For nearly 3 decades, she has demonstrated extraordinary dedication, nurturing while empowering every child she supported. In addition to bringing the Strong Start literacy program to Kids Ability school curriculum, her inspirational leadership led to key roles, including the board chair of the Kids Ability Foundation, and in 2023, the Kids Ability Superhero Challenge, fantastic event, which resulted in raising over $130,000 for life-changing programs. I've been in the Kids Ability facility and have observed the diversity of specialized services that support 17,000 students each year, and the essential importance it has on young learners. It truly is life-changing. Congratulations, Susan. My goal is not to hurt anybody. So we'll do a step over here.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Senator Deacon and Chair Karen Redmond, for your kind words. I am honored and feel very privileged to receive such a prestigious award this evening. I would like to acknowledge my guests, Lisa Talbot, Executive Director of Kids Ability Foundation, and Valerie Hogue, Chair of the Foundation Board. Thank you both for nominating me and the process that it took. My husband of 50 years, Jim Hallman, for his ongoing love and support. And my special guest, Mary Jane Schenkel. Mary Jane was the first person I volunteered for in almost 30 years ago. So that's pretty special. Thank you all for attending and supporting me through this. This medal is for the kids. The kids with disabilities who receive services at Kids Ability. They are the ones that shaped me and taught me about volunteering. My reward is knowing that I have made a significant contribution towards helping children who have a variety of challenges. I am so grateful for all that I have learned and continue to learn from these kids. I am truly blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. For close to 50 years, John has played various roles with dozens of teams and committees that include coaching the Galt Girls Softball Association, chair of the Connemara Games, serving with the Preston Jesters, the Hespeler Shamrocks, and the Cambridge Winterhawks Junior Hockey Clubs. John has also been dedicated to Cambridge Ringette and the Cambridge Athletics Fastball Team. John is also a member of the Cambridge Sports Awards Selection Committee. John himself was inducted to the Cambridge Sports Hall of Fame in the fall of 2018. I had the opportunity to work with and serve with John. His dedication to planning, leading, listening has resulted in a contribution for the ages. Congratulations, John. John is one of those folks that took a risk and said, ask me a question. John, you have just dedicated many tireless decades to sport, off and on the field. What has been your favorite contribution and why? Do you have thoughts on ensuring that community sports remains vital in the future?
My favorite part of the volunteering, I'd have to say, is coaching. Some of my players may disagree, but I have had various successes in that. The younger group, House League, is great. They're there to have a good time mostly. You have to remember that. Winning is nice, but that's not necessarily the most important part. To see them advance as they go along, improve their play, become friends with each other, and learn to be a teammate. Then we get into the adult stuff, a completely different kettle of fish, that one. Sometimes I wonder when I was coaching men's senior fastball if I wasn't coaching kids again. They had some very strange ideas, but what I liked about the senior ball and the junior team, the ladies junior team that I coached, is now you're into, yes, part of it is learning, but a lot of it is winning is important. And the part that I liked best was the challenge of making sure that I put the teams in the best spot I thought they could be to win, making lineups and things like that. To try and ensure the ongoing legacy of sports in the Cambridge area, Waterloo region, you need volunteers. And jokingly, I sometimes say you throw the fishing line out and see what you catch. But I also, when I have convinced someone to come and help volunteer again, I kind of go overboard and I say, okay, you're good for next year too. And that's been slightly successful. You have to remember that as an organization, you have to have a good relationship with your local government, because they are supplying a lot of help to you through fields and stuff like that. The other one is you're what I call corporate citizens. You want to use sponsorship as a better word, that's fine. And there are a lot of excellent sponsorship, good corporate citizens out there. And I forget what else I was going to say.
Thank you very, very much. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. That was great. Norma? This is great. Thank you very much, Norma. Norma MacDonald Ewing. Norma has made a significant and diverse commitment to the YWCA in Cambridge for over 30 years. Norma began early as a member of the board of directors. During her tenure as a board member and a board chair, Norma was instrumental in bringing the Women of Distinction Awards to our community. an event I have enjoyed. After leaving the board, Norma continued her work on several committees and led the strategic planning process. This was critical, as this was when the YWCA envisioned and dreamed about Cambridge's first emergency shelter for unhoused women. Norma was a big champion from the start. When I met with the YWCA national leadership in my Ottawa office this past fall, I was so thrilled and proud to hear more about the work and the work in our home community. The shelter, while slightly delayed, will be open soon. And today, Norma, we thank you and congratulate you. This is a nice pin, so I'm going to be competing with pins today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
To be recognized with the King Charles III Coronation Medal is an honor that is deeply humbling and an opportunity to reflect on the importance of giving back. For over 30 years, it's been my pleasure to serve the YWCA. Through essential programs and services, the YWCA stewards hope, strength, and progress in our communities. I've often found that the true reward of volunteering lies not in the recognition, but in the shared purpose and collective achievements of a community working together. And we've heard that from John and Susan already tonight. I have been consistently inspired by the vision, dedication, and leadership of the YWCA team. A very special thank you to my nominator, CEO Kim Decker, and joining me tonight, a YWCA leadership team colleague, Roz Gunn. Being involved in the YW has taught me that leadership is not about standing out, but about standing together to create meaningful and lasting change. And Senator Deacon mentioned the housing shelter that's underway right now. I'd like to also thank my husband. We started volunteering years ago, over 40 years ago, as student council co-presidents at Glenview Park in Cambridge, and have believed in volunteering ever since. To Senator Deacon and to Chair Redmond, your recognition tonight is not just an honor for me, but a celebration of the remarkable work of the YWCA Cambridge and the thousands of lives it touches each day. As I accept this medal, I do so with gratitude and with a renewed commitment to continue to supporting the causes and organizations that make our communities stronger, more inclusive, and more compassionate. Thank you. Thank you. And Senator Deacon was a woman of distinction.
I'd like to now call Tony D'Amato, Troy Detweiler, and Warren Stout to the stage area. Thank you. You may have noticed, I do want to acknowledge and thank you, Mayor Vannebeck, for the certificates that will be added to the congratulations packages to all of our recipients. I just slid the first few out, but I did want to take a chance to thank you and your team. Very, very kind. Thank you very much. Tony D'Amato. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you very much. In Waterloo Region, we have many individuals we all know who are unhoused. Tony started his work at a Better Tent City in Kitchener. This is an encampment of tiny homes that support and shelter 50 people without homes. This clearly set Tony on the path with groups across Canada to help them organize similar projects. Tony has helped create over 145 more homes in Kitchener, Waterloo, and Peterborough. He also works with groups from Winnipeg to St. John. Tony is the chair of the Tiny Shelter Roundtable of Canada, the author of a book entitled A Home of Their Own, and he's busy now finishing a second book. Incredible. Thank you, Tony. So, get some shots here, of course.
Thank you, Senator Chair Redmond, and everyone who made this event possible. The work of Better Street is to help communities build homelessness support services, addictions treatment centers, and supportive housing across the country. And as it brings us into either back alleys or city halls of different places across Canada, I'm always reminded of how much I love Waterloo Region. There's something here where people are decent to each other. And if any of the work that we do is useful, it's based in the philosophy of the Working Center, the discipline of Tiny Home Takeout, the kindness of House of Friendship, and the bravery of a Better Tent City, the relentless bravery of a Better Tent City, who continues to exist despite so many challenges, and the faith of St. Mary's Parish. So as we are here and celebrating this, I want to remember that the people who I really look up to are the people who make those organizations possible. So thank you all so much.
Troy? Reading here is great. Thanks, Troy. Troy Detwater. Troy has made a significant and timely contribution to the 2S LGBTQ1A+ community. In his role at Spectrum, Troy spearheaded quite an innovative program funded by Sport Canada. Troy saw the need and created safe and inclusive spaces where community members have reported friendly, expanded social circles, improved comfort in joining in on sport, and an increased desire to be active in a social environment. This has been very challenging work, but Troy's determination, compassion, and work ethic has been an inspiration for all participating and has a great and continuing momentum right now. Congratulations, Troy. Present a challenge.
I know. We have an ambulance in the back. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That's the drink ticket. I don't need that. Okay, so Spectrum is Waterloo Region's rainbow community. If you haven't heard of it, it's a great organization. It's who I work for in the margins of my days. 3 years ago, we started a drop-in sports program that now brings out over 50 participants every week. Our goal is to increase the accessibility of 2S LGBTQ sports in Waterloo Region. We strive to enhance the physical, mental, and social well-being while engaging in team sports. We've proved this program has statistically significant impacts on participants' health thanks to a year-long study through Wilfrid Laurier University. Without the amazing people behind Spectrum, this program definitely would not be possible. So I want to thank my partner, Neil Moser, Scott Williams, the former director, and Maddie Ferris and Kita Pinarero, who are my co-facilitators. We started off as just volunteers, and it kind of just grew. It's been quite amazing. And I just want to thank everyone here for recognizing the importance of including queer and transgender folk in sports. It's very hard to access those spaces for a lot of them, including myself growing up. So making this happen has been really great. So thank you.
This is for you, John. Oh. There you go. Thank you very much. Mr. Warren Stout, please join me. That's awesome. When you meet Warren, ask him about the moments and who inspired him to be a teacher and a passionate historian. So much so that he became the president of the Waterloo Historical Society for 58 years. Are you that old?
No.
Okay. And that,
Okay.
and how in 1967, after a conversation with a local Chamber of Commerce, Warren began 59 years of taking local citizens and visitors on what kind of tour?
Shun piking.
Shun piking. Another question you may wish to ask about the tours to all corners and beyond Waterloo Region with such great passion. With community service at the core, Warren has had a long-term involvement with the Waterloo Region Heritage Foundation, the Kitchener's Christkindle Market, Grand River Conservation Authority, St. Mary's, Rotary Club, and Probus. Warren will never stop. And for Martha, we are sorry. Congratulations, Warren. There's lots of protocols, and one is that when I try not to hurt anybody, this pin for men is to go across the top left pocket, and it must be perpendicular to something or other, and it must be only using up the halfway point of a pocket. So you can test me later there. There you go.
How's she doing?
There we go. Right?
Who's your photographer?
The guy. This is yours too, right? When you're finished.
Thank you. Thank you. Senator Marty Deacon, Regional Chair Karen Redmond, fellow municipal government and federal government representatives who are here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a sincere honor to be here this afternoon to receive a King Charles III Coronation Medal. Volunteering is when someone spends unpaid time doing something to benefit others. I'm honored to be here to represent the volunteers of many organizations in our region who do such amazing things with their volunteer time. My warmest congratulations to all of the other recipient winners, or medal winners. Your volunteer resumes are very impressive, as we have heard. I have lived my entire life in Kitchener and the Waterloo region. There is no better place to live. I'm here today because I have had an unbelievable support from my family, to my parents who encouraged me to get involved in the community at an early age, to my wife Martha, my son Cameron, and my daughter Catherine. Thank you for allowing me to do the things I love to do. My teachers at all levels encouraged me to get involved. As a high school geography teacher for nearly 30 years, I encouraged my students to get involved in their school and in their community. In my retirement, the best job I have had for the past 25 years is volunteering in our community, and I have been able to do that what I want and when I want. When you work full-time, your volunteer hours are normally 5 to 9 after work. But in retirement, your volunteer hours are from 9 in the morning to 5 at night, with very few night meetings.
Congratulations to everyone, and thanks. Best wishes for a happy and healthy Christmas and New Year's.
I'd like to now call Chuck and Tricia and April to the stage, please, or to the chairs by the stage, and then I would ask that Chuck and Tricia come on right up together. This is a team event here. It's good to see you. There is still nothing as inviting as a smallish, locally owned bookstore. Chuck and Tricia co-owned and built Wordsworth Books in Uptown Waterloo from the very early days. Recently, I was honored to attend the 40-year anniversary of this wonderful little shop. Chuck and Tricia reminded me of the history and warmth of this place, and that the work that Mandy and David have continued to carry on and celebrate Wordsworth as a pillar of this community. Chuck and Tricia, as a team, made reading exciting. They engaged the community and listened carefully to the needs and wishes of readers of all ages, including university students who didn't want to buy that book, but they had to buy that book for that course. They survived and thrived through competition, and from building personal book lists to author guest talks from newborns to retirees, there has and continues to be something for everyone. Thank you, Chuck, and thank you, Tricia. Have a seat. Tricia's going to go first, and Tricia again was asking for a question. Tricia, you have dedicated so much to running a small business in Uptown Waterloo, but in addition, you've also volunteered in many organizations. Tonight, can you tell us how Wordsworth has had to respond and adapt to continuous change?
Thank you, and thank you whoever nominated us. And I have to say, when I got the email at first, I thought it was spam.
You weren't the only one. Lots of people.
Yeah, and then Chuck got one, so I figured it can't be double spam. Anyway, how Wordsworth responded to change, and there's been a lot of changes over 40 years. I can only speak for the first 27. But we're a small business, so we could turn on a dime and adapt and be flexible. We didn't have to go to a head office. Well, the head office was at the back of the store. Sometimes the head office was over our dining room table after our kids, 2 of whom are here, went to bed. So we could make changes. We tried to be innovative all the time. We didn't just open the doors and hope customers would come in. We would go out to the community. So going out to the community was, we did volunteer work, and as we were volunteers, we wanted to help the community, but we also wanted them to know that we were from Wordsworth Books, and we were doing this because we believed in this community. We would also contact businesses that were having day-long seminars or conferences and suggesting to them that we do a book table so that that would be value added for their attendees. So things like that also helped us adapt to change and keep the doors open. Also, for years, I would randomly pick 5 customers who'd come into the store the day before, and it was random whether they'd bought a $3.95 card or whether they bought hundreds of dollars in books. 5 customers that I would send a handwritten note to, thanking them for supporting Wordsworth Books and supporting an independent bookstore. And I don't know if any of you in the audience ever received those cards. If you didn't, well, you weren't random. Anyway, so, and as Chuck and I are retired now, we still give back to the community. And the bookstore did that too. We never refused nonprofits who were doing fundraising efforts. We always gave in-kind gifts or monetary gifts. And we continue to volunteer and help this community. And it's the best place to live in Canada. Thank you.
Tricia and I are both humbled and honored by receiving this award. What amazed me is that we're here representing a business. I think everyone else has been involved in sports or a nonprofit organization, highly engaged citizens, but we were in the profit sector, and we decided we were about community building as well, as Tricia said. When we started Wordsworth back in 1984, we had a vision of an independent bookstore as a community hub that would connect readers and books. We went a step further. We connected readers and authors. From the very beginning, we sponsored author events, hosting scores of them over each year in local churches and settings like the Seeger Museum, if you remember that, or Waterloo Stage Theatre. We even hosted a Harry Potter party right here in the museum. These events put KW on the literary map. Prior to that, publishers didn't know we existed. They planned tours that might get to London or Toronto, but certainly not KW. And by the end of, we built up a reputation to the point where publicists were now begging us to host their authors. We often paired local or new authors with established authors too. And we made sure that part of the admission to any of those events went to the Records Literacy Fund. But in retirement, we've shifted that commitment to building community now through our volunteer work through our local church and through other organizations. I sit on the board of Spiritus Ensemble, worked with Third Age Learning, and Trish was the chair of social housing, which you just heard about, but of social housing of Waterloo. It's true that senior volunteers truly run the world. Thanks very much.
Thank you, and welcome, April Skeeta. Nutrition for Learning has been with us since 2000. I can remember in those early days offering to be a pilot school for this, and I know it informed me and influenced me to push very, very hard for the National School Food Program in Ottawa. Forest Hill Public School, like most of Waterloo Region, participates in Nutrition for Learning. It requires many dedicated volunteers to keep this alive and thriving at each school. April's been dedicated to child and youth food security for over 22 years. It's a family thing. April's mom, who recently passed, instilled in her the value of supporting her neighbors. April, with her mom, supported Nutrition for Learning for many years together. She's continued this at Forest Hill, where she continues to lead the Nutrition for Learning program, ensuring no child goes hungry. Today, with April, I'm reminding this community of the message that Aaron Monahan from Nutrition for Learning shared recently. The program the costs have exponentially increased based on needs. Schools have to be very creative. We are so hopeful this program can continue to support all those who need it. Tonight, April, we thank you and we congratulate you.
Thank you very much for this award and for the opportunity to be here tonight. A child should never worry about where they're getting food in their day. I've taught at Forest Hill Public School, as was mentioned, for 22 years, and for the last 10 years, I've been fortunate to lead an amazing staff of volunteers from the community and from within our own school to help to create a food program that allows access to healthy food for all children that are in need. We tried to create a program that took away the stigma of not having enough food and instead created a sense of community. So our students help to pack the bins, they help to deliver the bins, and they know that they will be supported with food throughout their day. That is not possible without Nutrition for Learning. They deliver food that is nutritious and healthy and fresh to us every week. So we really, really need your support in supporting Nutrition for Learning in those funds. I wanted to quickly mention a second charity while I'm here tonight and have the microphone. My friend and I, Jody Goddard, started about 3 years ago to co-coordinate KW Basketeers, which is a local charity we just run out of our dining rooms. We ask for donations of new household items and personal hygiene items, and we create laundry-sized baskets. We wrap them up, and we deliver them to the YWCA supportive housing units. We just finished our largest campaign, and we're very proud to say that we delivered last week 45 large baskets to the women that live at the Lincoln Avenue supportive housing units, and 45 smaller baskets to their block line location in Kitchener, as well as we personalized, bought clothing and toys and wrapped and delivered for 38 children. Neither of these passion projects would be possible without the love and support of my family, my friends, and the community. So if you can spread the word about both of those wonderful charities, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd like to now invite Darcy and Stephen Farlow, Christopher Howlett, and Jamie Martin to the stage. Thank you. Darcy and Stephen, you can come right up if you don't mind. Darcy and Stephen Farlow, what a team. Waterloo Region has a long history of welcoming new Canadians. 3 years have passed since Afghanis needed new homes in new countries. In my work in coordination with a few organizations, we work to try to get girls and those most vulnerable out of Afghanistan. The big work, however, is in supporting those upon arrival in a new country and sustaining support. Darcy and Stephen Farlow took this on with everything they had, including leveraging all of their networks. They were advocates and private sponsors. Darcy helped coordinate schooling, housing, worked with Reception House and the KW Multicultural Center. She did not take no and just kept advocating for what was right. The IRCC was tough to navigate, understatement, and they were there especially for Nilafar and Syed, who are here today. Darcy's efforts in securing language classes and employment truly helped many families. It takes a village, but it also took strong leadership and voices to push and push. Stephen worked to help secure employment, housing, and worked alongside the YMCA Immigration Services. He also negotiated affordable housing and purchases like the all-important family car, right to the finish. The work of Darcy and Stephen have assisted in healthier, sustainable resettlement for these families. The time commitment was significant, but the rewards and friendship developed are priceless. They know every new Canadian needs a friend to help them find their way in a new country, in a new life. Congratulations, Darcy and Steve.
Emergency responders and
Thank you very much.
How should we do this? No, together.
Thank you, Senator Deacon. We are very honored to be included in this remarkable gathering of community activists. We feel, though, that we are accepting this medal on behalf of a wonderful group of Southampton volunteers, because the story begins in September 2021, where we learned that 17 Afghan citizens were arriving in our little cottage community. They had fled Afghanistan 2 weeks prior and were in a state of shock, having left everything behind, including some family members. People organized quickly to provide necessities and friendship that continues to this day. But Southampton is a beach community with no resources, so 6 weeks later, at the end of October, the group was moved to a hotel here in Waterloo Region. As all the Southampton volunteer drivers waved goodbye and disappeared, Steve and I were the last two standing. And we looked at each other and said, we think our life is about to change. So we've had such a journey together, learning how to navigate rental housing and access healthcare, employment, education, permanent resident status, driver's licenses. Steve has gotten to know the Tilsonburg Drivers Centre quite well. How can a new Canadian do this all on their own? We want to thank some wonderful services in this community: Reception House, the KW Multicultural Centre, the YMCA's Immigration and Employment Services, just to name a few. We also want to thank friends and neighbors who contributed. We had a garage full of clothing and furniture and toys. We want to thank our supportive daughters, Robin and Lee, who are here tonight. Okay, this last line I knew was going to get to me. Most of all, we want to thank our new friends who have taught us so much about courage, resilience, determination, and hospitality. The meals we have had have been amazing.
Thanks, Darcy. And as Darcy said, we have formed some wonderful friendships through these past 3 years. And tonight, as Marty mentioned, we're joined by Saeed Zawari and his wife, Nilafar Papazai. And their stories just embody the challenges and the successes that new Canadians encounter on their journey. They arrive here with nothing but hope. Now, 3 years later, listen to this for a quick story. Saeed is working with a prominent engineering firm and studying non-stop for his Canadian engineering designation. Nilafar has trained as a translator with the KW Multicultural Centre and has had to redo all of her high school credits, even though she has a university degree from Afghanistan. And in her country, she ran programs that empower young girls. In addition to all this, they have 2 brand new young children, aged 2 and 1, who of course are Canadian citizens. Our most important learning throughout this journey is that every Canadian needs and deserves a friend who really cares for their well-being. Thanks so much for including us in this celebration. Thanks. Our books.
Yeah, we will. Christopher Howlett, please. That's good. I won't bite. There we go. Thank you for being here, Christopher Howlett. Chris. Strong Start, and you heard about it a little bit earlier, but Strong Start, we're so fortunate to have this program in Waterloo Region, assisting young people from 6 months to 9 years in developing foundational and important early literacy skills. It's critical, and it depends on a strong base of volunteers and funding. The 10-week Letters, Sounds, and Words program helped our senior kindergarten and grade 1 students get a boost in their literacy. I remember this program also well in our schools, and so many volunteers that made it work. Today, we honor a true behind-the-scenes, impactful volunteer. Chris has been an IT expert supporting the program for 14 years. In 2011, when Chris started, Strong Start supported 10,000 children. In 2024, the number is 60,000. Chris developed 2 innovative web applications that have transformed the ability to scale programs and impact. Called SiteSource, it now provides schools with secure websites to enroll children, submit assessment results, assign volunteers, record volunteer hours, and download program support resources. This enables trained volunteers to connect directly with schools in needs. Congratulations, and thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much. I'm here because I've been privileged for 15 years to help Strong Start teach thousands of children to read at a high level. It's a pretty important skill these days, of television, YouTube, video games, and ChatGPT. I want to shout out to some other people who deserve medals for this. Other people in the ecosystem. To the late Lyle Hallman and the late Linda Sylvester for starting Strong Start 25 years ago, and for developing an innovative gamified approach to teaching reading. To Michelle Dennison, Caitlin Smith, Jennifer King, and Kathy Brothers of Strong Start and its mentor Capacity Canada for their leadership. To all of the people who work at Strong Start, including and especially its thousands of volunteers, to the principals who host Strong Start in their school, of which our favorite senator was one of the first in 2001, and to the tens of thousands of Ontario children who have upped their reading game with Strong Start over the years. I'm honored to receive this medal for all of them. Thank you.
Jamie Martin. How are you? Good to see you. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Jamie Martin. Jamie has made many contributions throughout this community, but today I first wish to acknowledge Jamie's father, Colonel John G. Martin, who passed away in 2007 and was a frontline hero during the Second World War, serving the Lincoln and Welland Regiment. Following the dedication of his father and grandfather, Jamie has had a long and distinguished involvement with the Royal Highland Fusiliers of Canada, Waterloo Region's Reserve Infantry Regiment. Jamie served as chair of the regiment's White Hackle Council and chair of the Regimental Trust for many years. His loyalty to the regiment is demonstrated by his continued role as the past chair, where he continues to mentor and serve as a legal advisor to the council and trust. Jamie, until 2019, was a senior partner with Miller Thompson and KW, but his service to community continues in leadership with the Canada's Technology Triangle, the KW Art Gallery, the Board of Governors at Wilfrid Laurier, the Centre for Family Business, and Jamie was the founding vice chair of Heartwood Place, an affordable housing initiative in Waterloo Region. Congratulations, Jamie. This is high pressure. We're going to go up here first for your photo. Jane?
Yes. Thank you, Senator Deacon, Chair Redmond, mayors, elected officials, thank you. It's a privilege and an honor to be here, and one that I honestly didn't expect. So this really does come as not only a surprise, but it is humbling, as many of us have said. I thank Linda Fabi for her nomination. Linda and I have worked very closely at the Regimental Council. It's been my pleasure to be associated with the regiment, I think, since about the year 2000. I wasn't enlisted and I didn't serve in our reserves. However, I was asked by my father and by some others, Owen Lackenbauer, along with another gentleman who I had served with and met through the regiment, to be the first two civvy, if you will, members of the Regimental Council. And just as in the other experiences that I've been so fortunate to have at Laurier and with Heartwood Place and with so many other organizations here in town, it's been a real wonderful journey. We live in a wonderful town, a wonderful place, full of volunteers. I was always taught to give back, and I've been extremely fortunate, and I have tried. So thank you.
I would now like to invite Craig, Maddie, and Ben Campbell to the stage, and MP Morris, if you could join us in the white chair section. Wendy Campbell. We welcome Craig, Maddie, and Ben, family on stage today. We're honored to recognize Wendy Campbell posthumously. Serving her community, her family, and the food bank of Waterloo Region was a passion for Wendy for 25 years. I observed her action, her inaction, her vision was to make our community a better place, no matter what it took. Through her innovative practices, her ambitious goals, her leadership, Wendy was a relentless driving force. She turned every rock. Away from the food bank, Wendy loved to host, she loved the action, she loved to bring people together and host fundraising parties. Recently, while in Ottawa, the chair of the National Food Bank organization told me of Wendy's contributions and was so congratulatory on this award. Her contributions beyond Waterloo Region, including Food Banks Canada and Feed Ontario. While ill, Wendy assisted St. Mary's Hospital Foundation. I, however, wish to welcome MP Mike Morris to share one of Wendy's final contributions that highlight her character.
Thank you, Senator Deacon. I was asked to say a few words. I thought, well, I could talk a long time about all the awards that Wendy's won, but I think the Academy music would start. And so I'll keep it brief to say it was when Steve Farlow was still at Laurier that Wendy graduated with her MBA. I was getting my BBA at the time, starting a small nonprofit. Wendy was leading the food bank, and she was the person I wanted to be when I grew up. She had the heart, the passion, and the determination to get shit done in this community, to make our community better. And she did it right until the very end. It was when she was at Freeport, as I understand from Maddie and Ben, that Wendy was so frustrated that there weren't enough assistance devices to have mobility. There was one device for 150 people on her floor. What did Wendy do in her last days? She started a silent auction. And Freeport, as a result, was able to purchase 2 more of those assisted mobility devices so that every other person who will ever be there will be done better by our healthcare system. That's who Wendy was, right to the very end. And Senator Deacon, I'm so glad that you've honored her as part of this ceremony this evening.
Thank you. I was sitting down here earlier, and all I could think of was Wendy was actually in my ear saying, "They told you 60 seconds. Respect the timeline." I will maybe go a little bit over, but it's funny that Mike brings that story forward about Freeport. Wendy was so dedicated to make sure other people did not have the experience she had. So much so, she did with my hockey team, and the amazing group of people around us raised funds to go and purchase these sit-stand lifts for Freeport. She said, "We're not giving them the money, we're gonna go get them and deliver them." Then they had them. And we had a lot of help from the community to do that. That was just one of her great acts. The other one, for those who don't know, Wendy does live immortally for us. She donated her brain to science to help find a cure for glioblastoma. And it's a nasty disease. But they were able to harvest live cells from her donation, and there are millions of live brain cells of Wendy's in Hamilton and McMaster Sciences, and they continue to use them every day to try and find a cure. And we're grateful. We actually, Maddie, Ben, and I had a chance to go to their lab and actually see her brain, which is kind of cool. So, having said that, on behalf of our family, myself, Maddie, Ben, Wendy's parents, Bob and Barb, who were not able to join us today, and really all of our loved ones, we're just so grateful for this honor today. And we accept it on Wendy's behalf. She would be elated. The last 11 months, and I can say probably this is the first time I've shed tears publicly since March when we had the big party. But the last 11 months have given us a lot of time to reflect on Wendy and celebrate her, not only for her incredible and bold leadership here in Waterloo Region, but the impact she's made in the lives of friends, family, community members daily. We never have a day go by where something or someone doesn't remind us of how special a person she was, and her energy lives on in this community every day. We would like to thank especially MP Mike Morris, and Senator Deacon for celebrating not only Wendy's career impacts, but her daily way of living to making our community a better place. And thank you, Kim, at the food bank as well for working to make this kind of a joint nomination between MP Morris's office and Senator Deacon work as well. We're extremely grateful. Thank you.
I'd like to call upon Joel and Justin Lavoie to the stage, please. The final two King's Coronation Medals are awarded to our third couple of the evening, Sharon and Mel Lavoie. They both dedicated thousands of hours to Special Olympic athletes, that is, supporting athletes with a developmental disability. Locally, the Waterloo Region Police Services hosted a Special Olympic Games last spring. Incredible to watch, to cheer on, and see so many volunteers make it work. Sharon Lavoie has coordinated the local Special Olympic organization for 9 years. She loves the planning, meeting, the joy. She sees the sparkle in the eyes of the athletes, their coaches, their families. Sharon and Mel were a great team. She loved watching the friendships develop amongst the athletes and developing new friendships. Mel, on the other hand, was coaching on the field of play. While still working for the Waterloo Region District School Board into his 70s, Mel could not wait to coach skiing, golfing, and baseball. I will never forget standing on the hill with Mel last winter in Calgary. Mel was coaching skiers. The sky was incredibly blue. I was cheering them on and presenting the medals. He was so excited about the possibility of being selected for the World Special Olympics Games in Italy this March as a coach. On November 5th, Mel, like others, were informed by my letter that they would be receiving the King's Medal. He responded quickly. He would be there and who his guests were that would be joining him. The next day, Mel was informed that he had moved from backup coach for Italy in March to being a coach at the World Special Olympic Games. We knew he was thrilled with both decisions. Mel's family, our community, lost Mel the next morning on Friday, November the 9th. A shock for all at home, at work, and play. Mel was an incredible family man, working colleague, and coach. Tonight, we acknowledge all three. Mel's son gave a fabulous eulogy a few days later, an incredible tribute. His athletes will miss him. We all will tonight, but we pay tribute to his desire to help athletes and their peers, Sharon and Mel Lavoie. This evening, we welcome Joel and Justin here to receive medals on their behalf.
Just something real quick. It's an honor to accept this award on behalf of my father, Mel Lavoie. Dad worked tirelessly in his career to make schools more accessible, and during his free time helped to run the KW Special Olympics program with my mother, Sharon, who also is being honored here tonight. He would have been so proud to stand up here tonight alongside all of you wonderful individuals. Congratulations to all of you on your well-deserved recognition for your outstanding contributions to our community. Thank you.
quite an evening of diversity, commitment, contribution, joy, sorrow. I'm thrilled that we're able to start in a processional and celebrate the sounds and the joy of both our piper and Izzy, who sang the national anthem. Let's just give them one more hand, because they were great. Thank you, everyone, for being present, really present today. As a member of this community, as a senator, I'm proud to present this evening to wonderful recipients, but also acknowledge the work of every one of you in here. All of you give so much to this community. Finally, thank you to friends and colleagues for your continuous support and friendship. The usuals, I appreciate all of you here today. Thank you, Bruce, for co-presenting with me this evening. Others in the room know this, but there are sacrifices made to travel to Ottawa weekly, to not be quite so fresh when I get home on Thursday nights while we serve our community. It can be challenging. Today was an opportunity to share this stage with my husband, Bruce, and for that, I thank you. Thank you also to Tara Shamsi, my staff lead. While not here and very close to having a child, has assisted with so many aspects of organizing this event this evening. Thank you to Kadi from the museum and the team here, and to David Marskell, the very community-focused CEO at the museum. He's not here right now, but he was absolutely thinking about all of us and how excited he was to be able to host here this evening. Look around you. Consider using the museum here for your next event. As we close the formal part of the program, I invite all King's Medals recipients to return to the stage for a group photo and any other photos you wish for families. I'll linger for any pictures requested. I also wish to welcome the nominators to the front of the stage: Sarah, Taryn, Doc, Kim D, Lucy D, Dawn, Martha, Aaron, Lee, Michelle, Linda, and Kim, as I would like to present a memento to you also. Meanwhile, please, let's get up, move about. The bar will be open for another hour. Some snacks, some visiting. Please enjoy yourselves and meet others. Thank you. Merci. May Gutch.